again, it's April here and welcome back to another video. This week I've got a how I make my Memo pads 2.0 video. I have done a video on this before, but since then I've changed my techniques, improved them a little bit, well, quite a lot I think, and yeah, I thought I'd show you my new process. So I'll pop the old video link up here, I think. Is it up there? So this video is going to be half vlog style and half voiceover. I hope that's okay with you guys. Some days I just didn't want to talk to the camera. So I hope that you enjoy the video and I will see you at the end. So I thought I would make some new Memo pads for this video, also because I need to design some more anyway for my update, my shop update, and I thought I would do them on these little derpy cats that I did in my sketchbook a while ago. I did some cats and some birds, and I was originally going to do like a mixture of both, but I think in the end I just have one little bird making an appearance and most of them are cats. So the first thing I did is draw some little thumbnail squares, kind of the shape of the Memo pads that I wanted, and then took those sketches and kind of fit them into the boxes the best I could. And I actually did 2 pages of these, and then I picked my favourites and I just did like a nice little cleaner sketch. I don't even know why, because I didn't use these in the end. Next I was figuring out how big I wanted them, so I went on Etsy and I had a look at different sizes of different Memo pads, and most of them were about 9 to 12 centimeters. So I thought I'd make mine about 9.5 and then I could fit 6 on a page. Once all of that was done, I made a little, I think it was a 12 centimeter square in Procreate, and I drew all of my beautiful little derpy cats in Procreate. I did them a little bit bigger than the regular size so that when they were scaled down they'd be nice and crisp. And then I got them all printed. Pretty simple. So I did a couple of print tests with my Memo pads. The first one came out a bit weird. All the colours are too dark. This was like super saturated for some reason. Everything was just a bit dark and a bit dull. And I realised I had it on the wrong settings on the computer. It was like a different colour profile. So I rectified the situation and I think they're looking pretty cool. This one here is a little bit out of place, I think, because all of the others have like frames. But I'm going to go with it anyway because I quite like this one as a little Memo pad. I think this one's my favourite, but when they're all together, hopefully they're going to look really cool. I have printed out 42 sheets, I think, which is going to give me 5 Memo pads with 40 sheets each and a few spares just in case. So I got them all printed out, and now my first step is I'm going to cut around each square. There is a bleed included of about 5 mil. So I'm going to cut around each square, put them all together, trim the top off here so they're all perfectly straight, glue them and trim them again. And I'm using this guillotine, which is from China. You can get it on Amazon. I think they have a couple on Amazon. You might have seen these before. They have a blade. They got a blade here and you just kind of like up and down with it. It is dangerous. If you guys have watched a couple of my vlogs the last couple of weeks, I did cut my thumbnail off on this thing, so gotta be careful with it. And I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my least favourite part of making the Memo pads. Not only because this machine is pretty dangerous, but also because I'm just standing over the machine for like a good half an hour, fiddling with the paper, putting them in, putting them out. The lines don't match, like they're not vertical, they're not horizontal, they're not straight, so it's really difficult to like line the paper up. So it takes a lot of trial and error to get a good cut. So now I have them all cut out. It took a while. You can see that they're not perfect. They have white space somewhere. That's fine because that's why we included the bleed. So now I'm going to separate them into piles so they each have an even amount of the colours each, and then we will glue them. Alright, so now I've got like little piles of them, and I've just, you can't really see, but I'm just tapping them down so this edge here, which is going to be the edge that's glued, is completely straight, and all of these you can see are really messy. Like none of them link up, but that's fine because that's why I made the bleed, so we can go in and cut that later. So now I'm just literally going to cut off like a slither at the top, just so when we cut the edges, this top bit won't be too fat. Because it should be, especially on the square ones, you'll be able to see the difference. So it's just literally a slither. Now I've got this card called Grey Card. It was called Grey Card on Amazon. It's basically just quite a thick card. And I'm just gonna basically measure it the old-fashioned way with a ruler and then cut it on the guillotine, and that'll be our backing. Okay, so it's 9.5 centimeters right now, and when they're all finished, it should be roughly 9. They'll probably be about just over 9. Oh, whoops. Well, these were all straight, but now they're not. So basically what I've done is just piled them on top of each other. You can see the layers and the little backing card in between them all. So I popped them all on top of each other like this. And before I was doing them one by one under stacks of books, or I was doing them in my flower press, which I could only do one. But I have to give a lovely person a shout out, Patricia Hamill, who left me a message a couple of weeks ago linking me to a video of someone who stacks them. So this is the video here, and it is by Awagumo, and they use a clamp. So I got myself a clamp. I actually got 2 of them. These are a little bit different. Martin's dad actually helped me pick out a clamp, and it's like a gun. So you release this and you pull it out and then you clamp it back in. So I did a test last week and it did work, so I'm going to show you guys how I do it now. So the video I watched by Awagumo, she had like a freaking stack this high, like maybe even higher. I'm just doing 5 because I'm a simple girl and I like simple, easy things. I also have these 2 pieces of wood that Martin's dad carved for me, and I'll probably use it. So I'll just make sure, again, they're all flat. So I'm not really worried too much about the sides. Just want to make sure the top bit that's being glued is perfect. Don't know if the wood is going to be used. It's like harder to do. Alright, I'm going to clamp it on one side like this, and then basically I'm trying to get it as close to the top as possible. That's good. And I'm glad I got 2. I was actually buy 2 for £8. It's very unorthodox. Okay. You can probably get better clamps or different clamps, but these are the ones Martin's dad suggested because he said they were easy to use one-handed, so I wouldn't have to ask for help all the time. And also, they're quite a nice little, like, look, it's just sitting there now. So I didn't use these woods in the end. It's not clamped on super tight that I would leave an indentation, so I think it's okay to use it without the wood. But if I put it on a side profile, you can see that's pretty much perfectly straight. And that is the hard part done. So now I've got this PVA glue, which is just like white glue, and an old paintbrush, and now we're just gonna glue it. I'm gonna do 3 coatings, let them dry in between, and that should be enough. That's what I've done on all of my other ones in the past. It's not the best background because we have that lovely guillotine in the background, but I just wanted you to get a nice view of the glue. I'm trying to make it as even as I can and try not to get any kind of like on the backboard or on the front page. Oh, I never know when to stop. I'm always like, oh, just a little bit more. But I think as long as there's an even coating, you're okay. So the next day I unclamped my memo pads and found they were all glued very nicely together. So they are glued in a big stack like this, but it was pretty easy to tear them apart. I just got a craft knife. This craft knife is not sharp, so I had a little bit of problems. Definitely make sure your knife is sharp when you use this, but be careful with your little fingers. I got there in the end and I found it was actually easier to tear them apart rather than cut, because I did damage some of the paper on like the very first, the first page. So I had to tear a couple off, but it's fine because they actually all had 1 page extra than they should, just in case this happened. The next step was to trim them all, and after I trimmed them, they looked like this, perfectly straight on all 4 sides, really nicely glued together, and I thought they looked really neat and lovely. So I've got all my memo pads finished, they're all here. think they're all pretty cool. I'm really happy with the process. I probably could speed it up a little bit by doing some things like when these guys are all glued together, I could cut them all at once, but I'm always a little bit scared of cutting such a big stack of paper. I might try that next time. Super happy with them. So these are the new notepads. They have lots of different cats in them, little derpy cats, and they are going to be available in my shop update, which is coming out January. I'm hoping to aim for January the 4th, but check back for updates because I may have to postpone that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching me make these memo pads. I will be back next week with a studio vlog, so I hope everyone has a lovely Christmas, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.